Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in that wonderful Technicolor in between, welcome to tonight's coverage of the Titan Esports Vanquisher League. I'm What's Pretty, and joining me today, a new guest here, someone I'm not too familiar with, but I hope everyone is excited to see. It's TokiV. How are you doing today, Toki?
I'm doing good. Very glad to be here. Normally you see me up on those Divinity streams, but definitely excited to fill in today for Vanquisher. And I think I actually have casted one of these teams. True-minded gaming Paladins. I filled in for the week 1 game. So gonna be fun to see them again.
Yeah, it's always an exciting stream over here on Titan 2 when we've got True-minded gaming Paladins who have been, unfortunately, pretty unsuccessful this split. They're sitting at the bottom of the table right now, 1-4, actually tied with our other team that we're casting here tonight, Chitown Berserkers, who are also currently 1-4. Interestingly enough, both with the same game score of 2-9. So both these teams are really hoping to bounce back. I don't know if they're mathematically locked out of playoffs, but I know if they're not, their chances are pretty low.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking over at the standings as well, there's a pretty big gap between... Or sorry, no, not the bigger game. I was looking at the series compared to the games, but I think they definitely could make it back, and I think this is going to be one of those big moments for one of these two teams, because that's going to separate themselves from the bottom, kind of move them closer towards that middle of the pack, and then with a few weeks still remaining before playoffs, they could definitely still try to make some kind of a push. But we're going to have to see how it does play out, as the draft has begun, and already a couple of interesting bans. Now, Jin Zhao, that's pretty normal, same with the Talia Cinder on the side of CTB, but the Riven ban, that is not something I see often, and that has to be a respect ban, right?
It's a respect and a player focus ban, I think, right next to that Rek'Sai as well. Not a champion that we're seeing a lot at MSI or at any other of the international tournaments that have been going on recently. Aurora, though, a champion that we've been seeing quite a lot of, and CTB is putting on a lot of bans here into the mid lane. They do not want I Smell Bad to have any sort of freedom in this champion pool. It wouldn't surprise me if TMG opted to go for a mid laner first, but they're going to go for some flexibility instead with the Neeko.
Yeah, and I mean, Neeko, you were talking about MSI champions. That is definitely a very big MSI champion. I think has been in every single series so far, and very good on support role. And then we see the Mordekaiser locked in as well. Bit surprising to see top lane pick this early. Maybe it could be a fake and flex into the jungle. It's not common, but I have seen a decent amount. And Malzahar mid lane. Very interesting draft, to say the least.
Already heavy AP for CTB, just opting for Malzahar and Mordekaiser, just making sure that they have a ton of lockdown and suppression as well. And you see a lot of suppression. You think a champion that could remove CC would be pretty darn good. So Metashift is going to grab that Olaf for himself. I would love to see this Neeko now shift into the mid lane and pick up some kind of enchanter in the bottom lane, especially if you're also going to be locking in a Smolder. I'm fiending for a Karma game here. This seems so good for a Karma.
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like CTB, and I hate saying this early on, but I feel like they've already drafted themselves into a corner.
Okay.
So this probably is a jungle Mordekaiser, and Jace should do fine into Olaf.
Crazy like Jace bottom lane.
Maybe, but
it's much less likely, granted. But Mordekaiser jungle, I think, his good clear at the very least. I know they gave his passive some extra percentage health damage versus the jungle camp, so he'll be able to do a little bit more to those and be able to clear out a little bit faster. But you're also looking at an Olaf who is very good at clearing jungle camps. In the meantime, second phase of bans, lots of supports, a lot of bottom laners coming through. Braum and Rel, two of the better engage peel supports being taken off the board, and TMG going to continue that bottom lane focus with the Zeri and the Nautilus as well. So no more lockdown for CTB at the very least, but I feel like they do really have enough.
I think they do need something to start fights right now, because... So, okay, they haven't picked their support yet. At least we don't think they have. But I'd really like to see
support incoming. Huge. Yeah.
I genuinely think they need something like a Seraphine. I think that right now, that would completely break the draft of TMG. That would give them that long-range engage. Pairs well with the MF. I think everything they need, Seraphine would provide, because at this point, no tank engage is going to be enough for CTB. So may as well just go all in on that Enchanter, go all in on... a little bit of
Wait a minute.
They already have it with Jace, but
is it Neeko top? Or are we seeing Neeko jungle with Olaf top?
I think it could be Smolder top. I think that's what I would guess.
It could be Neeko jungle. It is Metashift. Metashift is known for playing this Neeko jungle pretty often. So I wouldn't be shocked if we saw that Olaf go up towards the top side. It has a pretty good matchup. As we see the champions shift over to their spots, yeah that's Neeko jungle.
That's going to be interesting. I've never seen Nico jungle, and I'm actually curious how the nerfs impacted that role, because it did lower a lot of the early base stats. Obviously, should get a decent amount of experience, so with the levels shouldn't impact it too much, but maybe that first clear will be a little bit slower. But both sides just kind of a little bit low on the engage. I mean, the Bard with the final pick, I think kind of helps as well, but no real front line for either of these two teams, just a couple beefcakes at best.
Yeah, you're trusting that temper fate to get the engage, which is a lot to trust in, to be sure. Caramel is going to have a lot of the onus put on them to actually make team fights happen for the CTB roster. Whereas for TMG, I think they're fine to just play for more of a lane bully style. You have Olaf in the top who, yeah, might struggle a little bit versus Jace, but as soon as one undertow lands, whether meta shift is in the area or not, that's going to be a Jace losing a flash, a phase rush, a teleport most likely. It's going to be a lot of pain. You have Smolder in the mid lane who's going to be scaling, and Lucian Melio who, while less of a lane bully than other Lucian lanes like Lucian Braum or Lucian Nami, it scales really well into the mid game. You have that extra range from the Melio Cozy Campfire. You have the extra magic damage that's similar to what Nami provides. It's just a really good 2v2 combo, and I think once Lucian gets one item, Melio gets one item, that's going to be a very scary 2v2 to try and face up.
Yeah, for sure. And especially with the Melio, specifically into the MF combo, I actually prefer the Melio over the Nami or the Braum, just because with Strut, you have so much range, you're kind of able to space the Lucian a lot more, and that's what Lucian hates the most. But once you get that Cozy Campfire, once you get that extra little bit of range, you're able to proc that passive off immediately. Then you can start your all-in combo, which, I mean, we've all seen Lucians just absolutely delete the enemy AD carry or the enemy support, just always going to be able to happen. But
we did see, I believe it was Doggo who pulled out the Electrocute on the Lucian in one of the more recent MSI games, and I wonder if we'll see Lilofint do something akin to that, or if it's just going to be the standard press the attack that we're opting for here.
I think this game could be a good Electrocute game, just because there's really no tanks on CTB. Press the attack kind of helps you kill those frontliners, but Electrocute's going to help a lot just in terms of getting that big initial trade and just kind of playing off of that. But I'm looking at these two compositions, and I think I do prefer TMG, just the way they're playing, right? Or the way they have drafted around. I think they have stronger lanes, and when neither side has any easy way of engaging, stronger lanes are definitely going to prevail more. And I think with both sides having weaker engage, meta shift with a Pop Blossom, if you get a good enough kind of like fake a good enough clone, you can get a massive engage. It'll be difficult, but I still think it's more likely than Tempered Fate coming out from CTB.
Yeah, the Temper Fate feels like it's going to be more of a response play than any sort of proactive play. You're hoping for Malzahar. I think CTB really is playing for individual picks. You play those like Death Brush games where Malzahar just presses ult on one person and they are not allowed to play the game. Maybe even a Mordekaiser ulti inside of those pits so you can keep meta shift away from either an engage or from a smite, so you have a lot of possibility there. We're just going to see how this suppressive team composition from CTB is going to work out as we jump onto the Rift for game number 1.
Yeah, and already a little bit of a difference for both these two teams. All 5 going top for CTB, and just the standard 5-point defense coming out from TMG. Which I'm actually a little bit surprised. I think the level 1s for both these two teams are quite strong. Lucian definitely can fight. I mean, the undertow is incredibly powerful in the early game, but maybe just hoping to have the numbers.
Yeah, Barcode is going to spot that out on the Olaf. Pops the undertow in there, just gets that slowdown, and now TMG is going to understand what's going on. They're just going to get their wards down. Maybe look for a little bit of interruptions, but they're not playing too heavy. Ward spotted out, so maybe meta shift recalls to get a sweeper, but XPPM actually starting the sweeper there on the Mordekaiser means that no vision on that blue side, so meta shift will have to play a little bit more carefully.
Yeah, for sure. But looking at this top lane matchup, I think that, surprisingly, with the Lucian, might be the matchup to watch. I think there's going to be a lot more volatility there. And more importantly, there's going to be a lot of snowball there. I think whoever's going to be able to get that early advantage, whoever gets the first kill or the first big wave denial, they're going to be just absolutely shredding in that top side. Both Olaf and Jace can obviously run away with the lane, could even run away with the game if they get fed enough.
I think
It's gonna
that
be a
is
lot
part
of
of
fun to watch.
why CTB actually did end up playing towards that top side, because you don't want Olaf to just walk into that front brush level 1 and keep Jace away from that minion wave and start really zoning out a lot of a lead, as you get some hefty trading here. Ignite and Electrocute Pods. Lilifant already under a third HP. Fortress Door is going to take a couple autos as well. You gotta respect the bar damage level 1. Caramel's putting on a clinic here.
Yeah, I gotta respect the bar damage every single level. I mean, that champion legitimately has so much burst damage throughout the entire game.
It's kind way more than you think.
Yeah, it's kind of in that interesting mix between Enchanter and Mage support. Just a really interesting design as far as champions go. Still one of my favorites for supports. But we're seeing some interesting movement already just in the camp clear. 5 minion lead for XPPM. Granted, that's just 1 camp plus the ward. But is already getting started on the Wolves, whereas Metashift is only now starting to cross through the mid lane. So I think XPPM could get the first move, but I don't think Mordekaiser really has good ganks until level 6, and even then maybe only with the Rylai. So, well, it's definitely more of a clearing jungler.
And I think that is the big difference between these two junglers. Nico is much more a level 3 and then I'm going to start ganking kind of jungler, whereas Mordekaiser is, let me farm up, let me clear my camps, let me get the Scuttle Crabs and get to my level 6 mark where I can really start to be a jungler. It's similar to something like Jarvan versus Nocturne, or even like Xin Zhao versus Nocturne, where one side is playing much more aggressively and the other is playing a bit more reactively, as Fortress Door and Lilifant might be in a bit of trouble here. They have Metashift in the area, but the Nico is so low, as XPBM and Caravel are not going to be able to spot out Metashift. The Spike Cone will see Metashift, so it'd be safe to clear out that Krug camp, but that was seconds from disaster.
Yeah, very interesting play. I actually don't even think they needed to go for such an aggressive play. And I think if you have the Mordekaiser, that's actually a loss for CTB because they did go for it. They could have just had XPPM, the farming out in the jungle, kind of continuing that clear lead, because now that advantage has been lost. Metashift actually didn't reset fully, is going to be going over to the Scuttle on the top side. But either way, is kind of back in the CS lead, has the gold again, has the XP, and won't get slowed down as much. And all of that ended up being for nothing. If they managed to steal the red buff, sure, but they didn't know Metashift's conditions. They didn't know where on the map Metashift was. And in fact, it's going to end up being positive for Metashift. Because of that loss of tempo, just going to be able to steal away the camp. It's only 1 camp, but it does add up over time.
Yeah, especially like we said with this matchup where Mordekaiser wants to play more of a passive farming style, as Caramel's going to take that portal in. Fortress Door getting pretty low, but the Elephant's still happy to walk up. Has to flash away from that grass, though, from XPPM. So that's a summoner lost on the bottom side alongside the heal from Fortress Door, and summoner's coming up for the CTB bottom side, so there's a potential for a 2v2 spice here.
Yeah, definitely. But Lilofant losing the flash should be a regank later on, especially if XPPM is going to be able to get level 6 before then. Though at this point, isn't really putting that much priority into power clearing.
But can they do anything about it, though? Lilifant is confident to just catch up, and there goes Caramel! First blood over to the Lucian, and Snork is not going to be far behind him. Has the barrier. Fortress Door is going to flash forward, and Lilifant doesn't have the flash to respond. So Snark with the flash and barrier will escape, but a big win for the TMG bottom lane.
And that's that cozy campfire range just coming out of nowhere. Caramel was not expecting it. Was kind of spacing pretty well. But again, getting that extra little bit of range just changes so much for that. Just a lot of damage immediately taking Caramel down, forcing out the both summoners coming out of Snark. And just like that, Lilifant's going to be in a very solid position. Has the pickaxe, has the cull on top of it, just to help scale with the culling. If you pardon my pun there, but...
Yeah, a big win for the TMG bottom lane, because now the bullying that Stark and Caramel have been able to pull off, it's going to be a lot harder to do, because Misfortune is opting for that Bloodthirster first item, which means she will have a little bit more sustain. She'll be able to keep up with the amount of healing that Cozy Campfire provides, but at the same time, I'm going to put that on pause, as XPPM is working on Fortress Door here. Slow's going to land from that Bard passive. The Meep's putting in their work. The Electrocute, a couple more autos to come through. Otto's going to get the Blizzard Confusions off, and the heal is not enough for the Cozy Campfire. Otto's going to find Fortress Door. Metashift now potentially in a bit of trouble. Lilifant looking for a possible flank angle, but in the 3v4, they don't want to take those odds.
I'm a little surprised how aggressive they are playing on this Mordekaiser. But I mean, it's working really well. Lilifant.
I don't know about this one. Has that dash to get away. Caramel has to slow, though, and I think this should just be the death of the Lucian. Does have the barrier, though. One more auto. The pop Blossom, not Pop Blossom, sorry, the Blooming Blows from Metashift will end up picking that one in response. So it's a 1-for-1, 80 carry for 80 carry.
Yeah, but you take that on the side of Snark. Falling behind the Lucian is incredibly scary. Like you mentioned, it's a huge snowballing champion. And because the kill went over to Metashift, yes, it's going to be worse off for the rest of the map and maybe in team fights for Snark and Caramel. But for the lane, it's going to be a lot better for them. In fact, with a 10 CS gold lead, with them being tied in kills now, there's not that big of a gap. Now, unfortunately, Snark is still saving up for that BF sword, so will go to that reset without a purchase. So for now, it is still weaker, so Lilith's going to have an attempt.
There's the Ragnarok and the Ghost. Barcode just wants to make this trade happen. Beastfridge is going to force to lose that flash as they didn't have the phase rush available, and that's what we were talking about with the Olaf matchup. If you lose, if you get hit by one slow, you can just end up losing summoners.
Yeah, and it's definitely a shame to lose the flash there in that play, but looking over at the CS difference, it's definitely in favor of Beastfridge. But there's no Ghost, there's no TP for Barcode, no mana either. So will be forced out of lane right now. So depending on the wave state the Beastfridge is going to be able to maintain here, and maybe Metashift is going to have to come back, and if that reset gets canceled, very good
incredible clone usage. That's how you can tell that Metashift is in fact a Nico player. Using the clone to block that accelerated shot class means Barcode gets back to lane fine. You don't lose anything because it's that basic cooldown, and it's not really something that you're often using for its active. It's more of a passive usage, and just being able to get Barcode back to lane there is so huge for this Olaf in this lane.
Yeah, and that's also going to turn into these Void Grubs. XBP, I'm going to be able to spot it out now, but
it's
kind of alone.
Yeah, Void Grubs, all three of them are going to go over to Metashift. XPPM is just going to be forced back as Fortress Store is in the area. Otter needs to be a little bit careful here. Mob's coming through. Otter does have the Malefic Visions and the Void Grasp, but can't even off to pop it as Hexify is going to pick that one up solo. Caramel flashes forward with the Ignite as well. They're just looking for Hexify here. XPPM is trying to get close, has the Ghost on. The slows from the meme should get Hexify in range, and there's the Realm of Death, and XPPM is just going to take his time with Hexify. A couple more autos down, but now is in trouble as Metashift with the good aim outside of the Death Realm pops him down. Red buff on the Nico is actually looking to chase it down, and the Pop Blossom will land. Caramel was juked, and Barcode is going to be the receiver of that kill.
Yeah, very long extended play, and TMG definitely getting the better out of that. Metashift even going to do the due diligence, shove out that mid lane. Hexify is not going to end up missing out too much on this. And especially the kill going over to Barcode. Now, I was about to bring that up before the fight came out, but look at that CS gap that's starting to open up between Barcode and Beastfridge. It's definitely starting to look bad, but we're going to go here over to the replay. And Otter, you cannot be roaming at half HP. I'm sorry, but regardless of who you are, it's just always going to be a dangerous play. And that was the feat of Warfare as well. There's another fight.
Oh, Snark in a little bit of trouble, has the berry, but Olaf has the shield! He's just healing through it! Ragnarok is coming, and it's not for Barcode. He'll die eventually, but he's happy to take the 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, but that is with Barcode already in the bot lane. Lilithant going to be joining here as well. So in the top lane, Beastfridge just able to get that plate, able to shove in the waves, and the CS gap's going to continue to grow. And Olaf, despite getting that kill, is starting to fall behind. Levels matter so much in that top lane. There's so much raw stats, and top lane is one of those roles where you use every stat that you get, but Beastfridge getting jumped upon.
Yeah, 2v1 here. Metashift doesn't have the Pop Blossom available just yet, so Beastfridge can maybe sidestep the Tangle Barbs, but Mom comes through, says sit down to the Master of the Arcane. Now fight on the bottom side as Fortress Rescue is going to be popped into the pit by Caramel. Melio does have the flash, so we'll be able to walk away, but now Snark is here. Lilithant tanked up that bullet time, so under half HP cannot help his support. A nice stun from over the wall. Snark will be gifted that one on a silver platter.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way to give kills to your AD carry. And as the AD carry, that is the best way to get kills. Lilithant
gets caught by that Tempered Fate. Stun timing not there. Lilithant has the flash. Stark has to flash out from under tower, but they'll take the kill, denying away from Lucian.
And that's going to be Dragon going over to CTB. That's going to be a plate, a couple waves lost for Lilithant. All summoners gone from the AD carry as well, but luckily the cross map.
Action on the map. Beastfridge coming through here. Hexify just needs one more auto, but it's Metashift to take it in the end. They'll trade it across the map for that Mountain Dragon, but the pace of this game is just so quick.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of what's expected when there's no frontline tank. If you see the enemy, you kill the enemy. Whoever attacks first is gonna come out on top most of the time. As we see here, Snark gonna be fighting with Marco. So this was a while ago at this point. But yeah, just the damage coming out from the Olaf, able to take that realm as well. And we'll get traded back. And whatever you trade a kill, and I think this goes underrated a lot, you give away an assist. The kills are worth the same, but you don't get the assist gold if you're alone. So that is 150 gold going over to CTB that otherwise would not have. So a slight advantage in that regard. As now Hexify could be the next target, but it looks like Carmel and Otter just don't want to go for this play. Don't think they'll be able to get it. But Hexify has been
kind of scary dragon.
I mean, yeah, especially if the mom's nearby, you know she's watching. But,
oh yeah. That's a helicopter parent if I've ever seen one.
Yeah. Oh, what? 1-for-1 in the bot lane. Support for 80 carries. So Snark going to be able to get the kill, but Lilifant also going to be able to get that back. And I believe that was 2v1. So, again, another one of those cases, especially when the 80 carry goes down, you can't farm it out. Lilifant going to be getting those plates. And will actually basically fully negate that CS gap. We'll also get a bunch of the gold from the plate, so it should be pretty even.
Ragnarok pops for Barco, but he's going to end up eating a lot of damage. His Beast Fridge is in the area as well. XPPM is in the Death Realm, and now suddenly Barco is the one in trouble, but he's healing up so much with the passive on that W. The Shock Blast doesn't find the kill, and now Metashift can start to walk forward. Hexify is going to get picked up by that Temper Fate, but no stun can come through as he's living on his own. Caramel has to get through that portal and get to the other side of the map, and now Otter suddenly stuck on his lonesome. Pop Blossom comes through, and that will just be one dead Malzahar as Hexify continues to collect the trading stacks.
Yeah, they self-heal coming out from Barcode, keeping them alive. Beast Fridge almost had the damage, but just didn't in the last little bit. But the more I'm watching this, the less I'm confident in this Malzahar pick. Because so far, I haven't really seen Otter been able to get any kind of pressure, any kind of advantage in these fights. But let's take a look at this 2v1 in the bot lane now. We do know that Snark was alone underneath the tower. Do they just try ulting the wave? No, they're just going to go for the dive. So Lilifant going to be the first to start tanking it up. So a lot of damage coming out from Snark. But
goodbye, XPPM.
XPPM going to be going down. So we'll probably get a replay of that or another kill, assuming the teams don't interrupt us again, because 19 kills in 14 minutes. This is a very fast-paced game.
Yeah, these teams are certainly out for blood today. And like you said, the fact that there's no real frontline tank for either side does mean that you can kind of just continue to walk forward and continue to be aggressive and just play the game inside the enemy's face, as Metashift, I think, has been the real beneficiary. A lot of this action, 5-0-3 on the Nico, up about 35 CS, already has that Storm Surge completed and 10 stacks on that Dark Seal as well. This is an accelerated jungler.
Yeah, and a lot of the time, you look at pro, you look at challenger teams, and even in these master teams, this is definitely important. Having that mid-jungle synergy unlocked helps a lot as
Lilifant, a little bit aggressive on the trade there. Have to respect the amount of healing that Snark has with that Bloodthirster. Tempered Fate now will find two. A nice find from Caramel. Can you time that stun? It only finds one on a Fortress door. Who's not going to end up dying? The shields will finally get taken down by Snark, who's trying to trade it back with Lilifant. The crits come through. Double tap. Snark finds two. Barco will get it traded back. What a big win for the CTB bottom lane.
All skill, no luck. Snark knew those bullets were going to crit. That's why they went for the double kill. And that's a massive kill to get. I mean, right now, it's really just the top half of the map for TMG that's making a lot of plays. Like you said, Metashift and Hexify slowly but surely has been getting those stacks. I believe it's 315 at this point. But it's still only going to matter once those first few team fights do come through. And the question is going to be, who has a more powerful one? As we are getting set for a fight near the Herald. Both sides just getting set up.
CTB has the priority on it. Already down to 7k is the Herald. Hexify and Lilifant already rotating down. Otter in a bit of trouble here. Positioned pretty poorly. Does have the flash. Gets away from that pop blossom. But Metashift is just going to pop the follow. Steals the Herald. Steals the kills. A massive play from Metashift. Will find 3 kills for the squad.
And that's exactly what you need to do on TMG. They go in. It was a 4v5 as well. But honestly, I think even if they did have all 5 of their members, it wouldn't have mattered. That Pop Blossom from Metashift, absolutely massive, absolutely taking over the game there. And then I mean, at this point, they're starting to snowball. It's almost a 6K gold lead. Their gold is just going to be a lot higher. They have the better items, they have the better stats. And let's look at this. I mean, that's a perfect Pop Blossom.
Got
Perfect
the
smite
as well. Oh my lord, Meta Shift.
Yeah, Metaship's just been playing perfectly in this first game. I guess the one upside for CTB is it is fearless, but
Snark gets caught out, does not count the minions, and Metaship takes advantage, gives the kill over to his AD carry, and this game is starting to feel a little out of control as the clone is going to spot out the members of CTB. The Nethergrass will come through, so Fortress Storm will fall, and so will Lilofent. A nice snapback from CTB might even grant them the dragon, actually, as suddenly it's now 4v3 in front of the pit, and CTB's got the priority.
Yeah, and Meta shifts down to half HP, so that's going to make things a lot more difficult for them as well. But one thing with these two compositions is if you don't have a tank, you can still get one-shot by the enemy team. That's always going to be a possibility, even if they're behind. Because at the end of the day, if an AD carry has 1500 HP, it doesn't really matter if you deal 1800 or 2800. They're still going to get down in one combo.
Barcode still has that ghost on, was looking to try and continue a fight there, but didn't end up finding anything. So now 2 dragons over to CTB, even with sometimes these messy fights not coming in their favor. They're managing to find objectives here and there. An unfortunate steal on the Herald means they don't have that in their pocket, which will mean they lose that mid lane tier 1 turret as Pop Blossom's here. Snark, you gotta count the minions, man! Meta Shift goes legendary.
Yep, twice in a row. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me once, shame on me. Snark, you gotta do better. And I totally get it because it's hard to always remember to count the minions. Hexify trying to get away. Otter looking to chase. Does not have the ultimate available.
No ultimate, no Rylai's. I think Hexify, yeah, just walks away here. That flap of those little wings means that the dragon gets out fine. He's on currently 180 stacks at 18 minutes, so is farming pretty well from himself. And I think a big deal with that is you get those extra stacks on the Malzahar Voidlings. Whenever they're in a wave, you can just AoE Q them, and they'll end up giving you a couple more.
As Beast Ridge could be the next target right now.
Beast Ridge has to flash away from those tangle barbs as a Raptor was walking towards him very menacingly. Fortress Store on the flank here on the Melio, but might be in a little bit of trouble. Lilofent is going to get caught up by that Temper Fate. A smack back by Beast Ridge gets Fortress Store down. And Caramel will pick up that last hit. They'll lose a turret for it, but Caramel wants to find a little bit more. Can't find the stun on that Cosmic Binding. Caramel gets very low, but Lilofent just doesn't have the damage to finish him off. Snark wants to continue to follow up. Flashes forward, gets the slow. The double tap comes through, but now no flash, no barrier. Barcode comes through. Hexify's on the flank as well, and now is inside the Death Realm as XPBM will eventually find Barcode through that Leandry's burn. Hexify, though, in a safe enough position. XPBM literally could not walk to him. Gets caught by the Tangle Barb, so Hexify will be able to walk out just fine. A messy scuffle here on the top side.
I mean, I do gotta give a lot of credit over to CTB. These fights, they are so close, despite them being down a 6K gold lead, you know? Like, they are well behind in items, but watching this replay, Beastridge just has nowhere to go, and that kick was perfect coming out from Fortress Door. Could have definitely been one shot, but did end up mattering. Will get one shot eventually anyway. Both sides just kind of firing their bullets at each other with the culling and the bullet time. And Caramel almost getting one shot. I actually think Lilofent did not need to go for that combo. I don't think that kill matters as much as potentially dying there. It did open up Barcode to look for the rest and the play coming out from Hexify. But I think that play could have happened anyway.
Yeah. I do have to appreciate how much that this Chitown Bruiser side is just not caring about the gold score, not caring how far behind they are. It's that copy pasta meme of, I think it was with Tien at the time, where it was like, Tien thinks his team is behind and they need to secure a gold lead, so he'll initiate a fight. Tien thinks his team is even and they need some way to break the game open, so he'll initiate a fight. Tien thinks his team is ahead and thinks taking a fight would be a great idea here, as Hexify is going to be forced to lose that flash. It just feels like that's what CTV is all about here. If there's an angle for a fight, they're gonna take it.
Yep, and they're taking one already onto Beast Ridge. Just Culling gonna get
is a little wide there. Now Lilofent dashing into the melee range of the Jace. Beast Ridge able to walk out of there just fine. Yonacon still being taken here. Meta Shift not in the area just yet. No, actually, he is there. I was fooled. The smite comes through, though, so XPBM will secure that for the team. But there goes Snark, popped down by the Pop Blossom. Metashift continuing to be legendary. Otter forced on the run, and the rest of CTV
now look at the top lane, though.
will be on the run as well. And in the meantime, in the top side, Beast Fridge and Barcode are duking it out. Otter's going to be forced to run away. Beast Fridge will take the 1v1, but he'll lose the inhibitor turret for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big kill, and you definitely take the trade Otacon for one in the bot lane. Now, it's going to depend on what Alice TMG are going to be able to get here. They're going to get the tier 2. That definitely makes it a much closer trade. But even so, I think TMG can be pretty happy with that. They're going to get the gold lead, they're going to get the structures down, and they're going to continue pushing even as Metashift. So much damage.
XPPM now in the death realm with Metashift. I don't think he's got the damage. Caramel's going to be able to survive just barely. Beast Fridge now on the killing spree will find Lilifant. XPM will finally go down. Fortress Door gets a nice big ulti, but it just doesn't have enough power in it. Shutdown over to Beast Fridge. Shutdowns across the board as Metashift will finally die, but CTB will manage to hold on to their base.
Yeah, try to go a little bit too deep. And Metashift got kind of punished a little bit, went a little bit too far into the front line, and especially without Pop Blossom. TMG is a team comp that is so oriented around its ultimates, it's difficult for them to play up off of that pace. And they kind of tried forcing it a little bit, and unfortunately it didn't end up going too well for them. But we're going to watch here the replay as they are taking the Otacon in. I'm trying to see Metashift. I know Metashift is here in that bottom
wave. There he is.
Yeah, it is one of those minions. Comes in just a little bit too late. I actually think was in range for the smite, just better time by XPPM.
Oh, that damage is disgusting on the Nico right now, but
yeah, another fight bringing up in the picture though.
Yeah, Lilifant is going to find Otter, but the Dragon will go over to CTV, so now on Soul Point, but the healing from Barcode is not going to keep him alive in time. Hexify on the flank again, now a double kill over to Lilifant. He'll be able to flash away. Hexify is unlocked. He's unleashed on the Dragon. He has that true damage burn, and will pick up the kill on Beast Fridge, but isn't able to get much else. Caramel, that's not Lilifant! That's Metashift, and you're dead!
Yeah, don't worry. That's not a harmless AD carry. That is a very harmful Nico in the jungle role. 11-1-7 on this Nico. Has the Zanya, still has Pop Blossom. It's pretty much entirely unlocked for this next play. And there's the Pop Blossom.
Pop Blossom again onto XPPM. He's got a big shield, though, so he'll be able to stay alive. And with the turret, they're still alive. We'll be able to walk away, but you can see just how much damage these members of TMG are able to pull off in just these short combos.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous to watch. I mean, when it's a team of squishies that you're hitting against, it'll always look inflated, but I mean, their score line, their CS line, like they're rich. They have the gold, they have the damage now. But one thing I do want to mention before we continue on here is CTB did get the third dragon. So they are on Soul Point. Now, unfortunately for them, it is the Ocean Drake, which I think is the single worst Dragon Soul you can have in this game. I don't think anyone's lasting beyond 5 seconds, if even.
It's all burst damage. I do think the fact that they could get to Elder is a potential strong point for them, but it's a matter of making it that far. And I just have to say, over the course of this entire season, against pretty much every best of 3 that we've seen TMG take part in, the Nico has been banned. Very often, it's one of these first-round bans that teams will just respect put against this TMG roster because, yeah, Nico is, like, even before she was really good in MSI and we saw her being support, this was just Metashift's pocket pick. This is just what he does, and we're seeing exactly why he does it here and how he does it in a game like this. As Fortress Door in a little bit of trouble, gets put inside the death realm with XPPM. You can't cleanse your way out of that one. He's going to try and redemption himself and will manage to stay alive, so a couple of cooldowns lost, but XPPM with no ulti makes that Mordekaiser a lot more vulnerable. Lilofit getting plenty of damage in with the culling, and there goes the jungler. Now TMG are going to look to turn to the Baron.
Yeah, they should be able to take this for themselves. They're going to immediately get started on it. There is no smite. They could poke a little bit. Beast Fridge is easily strong, but
oh my god, meta shifts.
Just preventing any kind of play over top. Bullet time, just trying to zone them away. But I think this is just going to be going down. If you keep trying to stop it, you might go down with it. But Baron buff going the way of TMG, this is going to really enable their push. And the fact that bullet time is used during that, that's a really good clear tool as well. So if they're able to utilize that timer, their ultimates are going to be up pretty soon on the side of TMG. If they push with it, they have the open inhibitor in the top lane, mid lane and bot lane, they're down to the inhibitor turrets. This could be a huge moment for them to potentially try and close out this game.
Yeah, they've got a chance with this Baron buff, and I think they do kind of need to end it soon. Jace now on 3 items. He's starting to get a little bit stronger. We're gonna have a pause here, so we've got a second to breathe in this absolute chaotic game number 1. We are at, I think, 2 kills a minute, just about. We're gonna get a replay of what exactly we saw on this bottom side fight after the Otacon was taken.
Yeah, so I believe this is when that top lane was being shoved in. We see the one for nothing in the top lane. But yeah, they're just going to be getting started on this tier 2. I don't remember if there was a fight here.
I think this was
the tier 3 dive. That's what it is. That's what it is.
We're going a little bit farther forward. This was the very explosive fight.
Yeah, looking for the fight, but the death realm just perfectly timed. I think if that death realm doesn't go off, I think Hexify is going to be able to get that kill as well. And Beastridge coming in from the back line after getting that solo kill, just really utilizing that timer, really utilizing that advantage from the top lane. And it does bring them back into the game just a little bit, but things do get a little bit rough afterwards. And, I mean, this has been Metashift's game so far. I think, without a doubt, even all the plays that are going well for the other members of TMG, it's still Metashift just kind of being at the forefront, still getting things done, as Barco's just running them down.
He's just walking forward. He's playing Olaf. He is just walking forward. And you can see how much healing he gets in fights like this. We did see a little bit of anti-synergy there with that bullet time and the Tempered Fate, but I'm not sure it would have ended up mattering too much, as these fights, again, are just so explosive. It feels like the damage that matters that comes through is all in that front burst, as we see Caramel here. Yeah, that's not the Lucian. That's the Nika. That's the one you have to be afraid of.
That one's always so painful to watch, as it looks like we are out of the pause. We're just in our usual
little freeze
post-pause bug, you know.
Do you think Riot will ever actually get rid of this little time stop?
Well, I mean, the game's still in beta. Maybe when they give their full release, maybe that's when they'll do that. But until then...
they are just a small indie company, so, you know, they're trying their best.
Yeah, it's crazy. They only have 1 employee with 200 years experience, though. But
yeah,
we'll see how that goes on. Oh
god, there's that Nethergrass. They're finally using that suppressive, but Fortress Door has the cleanses, has the heals, is going to be able to get the heck out of dodge, has to flash away from XPPN. The Mordekaiser are still fairly scary. Lilithant on the run now with that culling, just getting some extra damage back, and I like the attempt from CTB, but they don't get anything out of it.
No, they don't, and that's very, very unfortunate, because you definitely want to be able to one-shot the support. If you're going to have the Malzahar, that's the point of the ultimate. Whoever gets caught in it, you want to be able to burst them down. If you get the full duration, as Otter almost going down during that play anyway. And because they didn't get that kill, they used so many cooldowns. It's going to be the mid lane inhib, the mid lane tier 3. And they're just going to keep going forward.
There's one back. Snark will find a kill, but the Pop Blossom for Metashift again is going to open up the base here. TMG are looking to just take some kills inside the base. Shutdown's traded, having a little bit of fun with it on top of the Nexus turrets. But Beastridge is here to punish. Picks up 1,100 gold in Shutdown just on the Nico alone. So CTV will stay alive, but we'll close the gold lead a little bit. But TMG, I think, just having a little bit too much for fun with that one.
That doesn't just close the gold lead. All 5 members down, Dragon Soul is up. It's not going to be the best soul, but even so, it's going to let XPPM live longer, as we see the Pop Blossom just all the AoEs layered over top, but the bullet time doing so much damage. Hexify losing pretty much the entire HP bar through it. And, I mean, Beastridge just kind of living up to the name, just coming in from the back, cold as ice, just dealing so much DPS, getting as many kills as possible, and will secure the Dragon Soul for them. So, at least for now, they're on their way to maybe getting the Elder, and considering they've had 100% of the Dragons this game, that could be their new win condition.
Yeah, if we're going based off of past statistics here, they've had 100% of the Dragons, so that means they're going to get the Elder Dragon, right?
I mean, it's guaranteed. We only do results-based analysis here on Titan. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
That's always been our way.
I do want to say I think the amount of damage coming through from Snark in that team fight was insane, and now that CTB has this Ocean Soul, it will help them turtle up a lot, because any of the poke that comes through from Hexify or from Lilithant or even from Metashift, who maybe can find a Tangle Barbs, any of that poke that comes through can be healed off. They're going to be able to have infinite mana sustain even when they're outside their actual fountain. So they have the ability to stall out the game a little bit longer, play towards some of these later game conditions, because the Lucian is going to start falling off fairly soon, and Olaf has kind of a funky build. I don't think he's going to be doing as much damage as he wants to do. So I think there's possible win conditions here in the later game for CTB.
Yeah, there definitely are, but as they're gonna be looking for more
so
right now.
fast! He sprints out of that brush and he's gonna get the stun off onto Barcode. They will end up forcing out the ulti. Stun comes through onto Lilufent with that Temper Fate, but meta shift in the area means that CTV can't go for a collapse. They will be forced to walk away, but a couple of big cooldowns are going to be grabbed as Otter is still just playing this side lane push. Shock Blast lands. Lilufent's going to eat a ton of damage, not even bothering to come for the redemption. You are the bane of my existence, Lilufent, as a support player. They're looking to just try and brute force the fight. Bullet Time is going to get a chunk of damage off. Lilufent, though, separated from the rest of the squad. Death round in, and now suddenly SPPM might have the advantage in the fight, but Beast Bridge is popping off, picks up a double. Hexify will get one in response, but it's 3 for 1 inside the base of CTB.
Yeah, they're just pushing a little bit too far in. I like the play to force down the inhibitor, but it seems like TMG, this entire game, they get a very solid initial play, initial engage, as, never mind, another fight breaking open, but looks like they're just gonna back away.
Yeah, those blooming blossoms do quite a bit of damage on to the members of CTB. I'm hoping to see a little bit more magic resist come through, but I don't know how much room they have left in their builds to actually get it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if they'll have the time to get it either, because, I mean, at this point, I think it's pretty clear this game is on a knife's edge. Now, TMG luckily still has most of their turrets still available. Tier 1 in mid lane is still up. Will be getting taken down
gold
now. But, I mean, it's going to be a little bit of gold going over towards CTB. But most importantly, at this point, I don't think it's the gold that matters so much as it's the lifeline for them. Because if CTB win a big fight, it'll still take them a decently long time to be able to get through all those turrets, get through the inhibitors, and then get the Nexus. So TMG, they kind of have that 2-fight lifeline right now, where they can absolutely lose 2 fights before they lose, instead of just that one.
The red buff is coming. It's so scary. They have to run away. I love seeing this Bard build every time I see it, just with the Dead Man's Plate and those symbiotic souls. You just go so quick throughout all the lane. Red buff's gonna walk out of the brush, Pop Blossom in onto 2, and CTB are blown up inside their red buff. Meta shift picks that one up, and now in the 5v3, can CTB defend their base?
They have bullet time. That they could just elect to clear the wave, but there's another one not far behind, and I think that's going to be the difficult part. Snark needs to hold it for that second wave, but not even going to be able to get any use out of it at all. This should be it. Unless
Nexus turret is down. Nico Clone walking forward, but no Pop Blossom means that Metashift doesn't really have the ability to engage, but they might not even need to. They're just going to be able to take the turrets down. Mid inhib comes up, and mid inhib does not matter as that top inhib was forced down. Lilufent gets tapped by Snark. They're going to turn around and take the inhibitor instead. Beast Fridge is forced back, looking for potential Shock Blast, but just doesn't have an angle for it. They wanted to run some members down, but TMG able to walk their way out after losing their AD carry.
Yeah, but Baron is alive, and the question is, do TMG go for it? Do CTB try and go for it?
See, that's scary.
And that's the issue. They do have the damage coming out from a Hexify, Barcode, and Metashift, and at this stage in the game, it should be enough. But at the same time, CTB want to go for it, and if they go for it themselves, it could be pretty rough.
I just need to direct your attention to Smolder's inventory when we see him again, as Caramel's going to get popped by the Tangle Bars, but does not end up dying. Again, with that Ocean Soul, we'll be able to sustain up eventually, but I believe that was an Overlord's Bloodmail I saw in the Smolder inventory. I feel like I've just never seen a Smolder get this late that he would actually want to buy that item with this build, but we're going to see exactly what happened and where the heck Lilufent went in this last fight.
Yeah, just the side steps the bullet time, doesn't really end up hitting onto anything, and that double up, healing half of Lilufent's HP. I mean, Snark is really strong at this point, and I'm guessing Lilufent just dashes in a little bit too far, gets punished for it.
Double tap doesn't find him there. Is it just one? Yeah, off the mid, one crit. Holy.
Yeah, that's all that's necessary. MF in the late game dealing so much damage. And I think at this point, Snark has outscaled Lilufent as the Dasher is going to go down to Metashift.
Yeah, Metashift will grab that. Beast Fridge eats a little bit of damage from that calling. XPPM looking for an opportunity to get that Death Realm. He's on Lilofin, but I'm not even sure the Mordekaiser wins the 1v1. Does have that Ocean Soul, so we'll be able to sustain up a while, but he just doesn't have the damage to finish off Lilofin. Will finally knock him down outside the Death Realm as Hexify will be the next to go. Has to be one running away as Fortress Storm was the one to fall, actually. Otter wants to flash in for Hexify, but just out of range of the Nethergrass, not able to get on top of the Smolder. And suddenly CTB with a couple of picks on the bottom lane. They're looking at the Elder Dragon. Toki, I think it might be 100% Dragons for CTB.
Ooh, and that's a Pop Blossom gone as well.
Doesn't even just have it, and now suddenly he's dead with no smite for TMG. That's a guaranteed Dragon for CTB.
I mean, this is why we do results-based analysis. It has literally never been
wrong.
It has never been wrong in our entire lives in the history of Titan. The analysis has always been 100% on the dot. And with this Elder Dragon, this changes everything. Beast Fridge, that Shock Blast combo can basically take someone down depending on the range. Snark was almost one-hitting Lilofin as it was with the double up. Just got another BF sword over top of that. So with the crit, with the burn, if Lilofin isn't at 100% HP, just sitting on like 70, that is a one-shot just from that one basic ability. So they do need to be careful. This could be the moment for them to open up the game. So we're going to watch here how the Baron did go down. Tempered Fate does buy some time. Beast Fridge tries to DPS a little bit over top, but yeah, they're just not able to get in. And Mom helping zone. It is very good take for Metashift and for CTV, but yeah, once again, they just try to start a fight that they have no business starting.
Whoa, Fortress Door. Both the time comes through alongside that Culling, and Caravel's just going to lose half of his HP. Nice use of that ultimate defensively from Lilofin. Did end up losing that flash, and so did Fortress Door. So a couple of big cooldowns burnt. They got a minute and a half left on that Elder Dragon. It's just a matter of how much can they actually use it versus the Baron buff that TMG is still holding on to.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to find the angle. TMG wisely playing defensively, playing very passively. Because as long as they wait it out, the game is back in their favor. So as long as they don't force any play, as long as they don't try to start another one of those fights. But
we say it's in their favor once the Elder Dragon is down, but at this point in the game, yeah, they've got the Nexus open, so if they end up winning a fight, the game's over, but do they win the fights anymore? You've got Ocean Soul, you have the Elder Dragon for a minute longer, and the gold leads are practically even with each other now. 2k difference at this point in the game means nothing, not even counting the like raw stats that the Ocean Soul, that Mountain Dragon, and that Hextech Dragon give you. I think the teams are practically even at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking over at these gold leads right now, Beast Fridge up ahead. Metashift is super far ahead. Always will be. Yeah, so it's really top bot versus mid jungle. Now, the top lane, bot lane hasn't always been the biggest synergy, but right now, the way they're playing, they don't need it. Oh, that's another bullet time and the Tempered Fate.
Yeah, they're going to eat a lot of damage, but the healing from that Cozy Campfire is going to get Barcode back up. Culling comes through. Metashift wants to find the engage. There's that 3-man Pop Blossom, and there goes the bottom lane of CTB. XPPM is in the death room with Lilofin again. With the Elder Dragon next to you, we'll be able to pick that one up, but on the outside of the fight, they've already lost their mid laner. They've already lost their jungler. It's just Beast Fridge left against 4 members of TMG. Beast Fridge, how much can you live up to your name? The Elder Dragon is gone. He has to defend solo 1v4. And I'm going to be honest, Toki, I don't think he's got it.
I don't think so either. I mean, we are already seeing this damage as... Yeah, I'm looking at this build as well, by the way, from Hexify. I think that might be the Dante's Tank Smolder build.
I mean, it works in a game like this.
But... yeah. We'll see. Beast Fridge, go! Beast I believe!
Looking for a potential all-in, but Hexify just has too much HP. He'll pick up meta shifts off the extra damage from that Nexus turret as well. Those turrets are respawned. They can be targeted even if we can't see the health bars, and he's actually going to manage to hold the base somehow. CTB is still in this game.
Yeah, I mean, and they're doing a great job being in this game still, because, I mean... Beast Fridge had to do a lot to survive there to be able to keep the team alive. Just forcing down the wave, making sure that there were no minions. The turrets did respawn. Don't worry about that. They are there. That is just a visual.
We promise they're there. We promise that the players
on full release, you'll be able to see them. Okay, so don't worry about it right now. Just it's alpha state.
Look, the spectator client is in its alpha. The game itself is in beta. We have to be patient with a game like this. It's only been what almost 20 years at this point.
as someone who's been playing from season 1, I don't want to think about it. Narco getting
We got
justified.
potential play on the barcode. Pops the Ragnarok. That does make you a lot less tanky, but you do get to avoid all that CC. Turns around out of the road. That it's over. But Caramel's just going to find that kill. And the 5-man collapse from CTV on the side lane will net them one. But what else can they get? As Mom comes through, it's not going to find too much. And again, with that Ocean Soul, the poke just doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I think that's really the big thing because Littlefin's culling does nothing into Ocean Soul. Now, as far as Dragon Souls do go, I still maintain it is the worst one they could have gotten for this game, but it's still a Dragon Soul. It still does provide
I think it shows
quite a
how
bit of
good
health.
the Dragon Souls are.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it is, but Metashift is getting spotted out so much damage.
Accelerated shot, Leslie Littlefin's a bullet time from downtown. Snark is going to find that one. A nice stun from Carol. Means Fortress Door is going to go as well. CTV now 5v3, 5v2 even, outside the base. The problem is they just don't have the clear and Hexify. They can't dive the Smolder. He's too damn tanky.
But they can take the Baron, and I think that's where the next place is going to be. But
hang on, they want to find him. Flash forward from Otter. He's got the Nether Grass. Hexify falls. Metashift is back up and has Pop Blossom, so they need to be careful. One Nico ult can turn the game here, but CTV on the cusp of a ridiculous comeback.
I think they can do it. It's really going to be on Metashift. Are they going to get hit by the Pop Blossom or not? That's really all it is.
Tempered Fate finds the stun. There goes Metashift. He's stunned under turret. He's blown up before the ult can come out. Metashift falls. TMG falls. CTB will win game number 1.
I can't believe that just happened.
I can't believe it.
I mean, they literally had the open nexus. They were on the open nexus, and then came the Azir, just raised both the turrets right back up, and there's nothing they could do. Beast Ridge clearing out those minions, so they couldn't even push with still 4 down. I mean, they definitely deserve this victory on the side of Chitown Berserkers, just because, I mean, being able to hold for that long, having that mental state of not giving away this game. They were able to hold on forever. They just kept playing defense. They still believed. Snark and Beast were just trying to find those plays, and I was even saying for a good chunk of the game, Otter on that Malzahar, I didn't think really had an impact, but that last flash, that was the game-winning play, so definitely some impact coming out from Malzahar that game.
I've been getting into baseball recently, and they have this fun stat. If you're not into baseball, it really is the nerdiest of all like sports games in general. Yep. It's a lot of numbers. They have this stat that's called win probability added for any particular hit or defensive play that adds or loses your team a chance of winning. I think Otter had the highest win probability added by taking out Hexify there at the end of the game. If that Smolder doesn't die, they can't clear waves. Metashift comes back 3v5. I think TMG wins that fight. But because the Smolder isn't there, they don't have a chance to set it up. And off the great Temper Fate from Caramel, they just knock down the Nico before she can even play.
Yeah, and I think that's really what made it difficult, because at the start of the game, and once we started getting towards the middle part of the game, Metashift was just everywhere on the map. They were not counting minions. That Nico was basically doing whatever they wanted. But once they got to the late game, there was less to focus on. And I'm not sure about the comms, obviously, but I'm pretty sure that the only thing they were talking about is, where is Nico? Where is Metashift? Like, what do we need to be careful of? Because without the Pop Blossom, there's no engage. Without the Pop Blossom, they can't deal any of their damage. That poke damage does nothing into the Dragon Soul. And so, like, that's basically the play. As long as you're able to keep track of Metashift, that's where then there's really no threat to you.
Yeah, and off of a couple of great Tempered Fates from Caramel as well, always finding 1 or 2 members that they can end up picking at the end. It was this time I think we talked about in draft where the Bard ultis were really necessary for the engages, and Caramel came up big there. We're going to have to see if Chitown Berserkers can come up big in game number 2, or if TMG Paladins are going to try and strike back here. We'll be back on the other side of this break when we jump into that draft for that game number 2. We'll see you there. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to be jumping straight into the draft here for game number 2 between TMG and CTB. Important to remember, as you see at the bottom of your screen there, we do have our fearless bans. So we're not going to be seeing Metashift Nico anymore. We're not going to be seeing that great Melio or Bard that we saw in game number 1. And already the ban's shifting up a little bit, but CTB want to keep the pressure on this mid lane pool.
Yeah, also important to note that they did swap sides, and that does mean first pick is going to be on the side of CTB and main counter is going to be on the side of TMG. So I'm wondering if that's going to change up the draft a lot, but so far it doesn't seem that way. Just going to be targeting out I Smell Bad continuously on the side of CTB, and TMG just going to be trying to take out XPPM. But I mean, if you play jungle Mordekaiser, I feel like it's impossible to fully ban out the jungle, but at the very least can take out the best characters.
It looks like it is just going to be a lot of targeted bans in general, like you said. That Riven still taken away from Beast Fridge, not allowing him to have that one. And after the Jace performance, yeah, I can't blame him. Give that guy a carry again, please, CTV. But I wonder what the actual first pick is going to be here. There's a lot of AD carries that are still up that are very good. There's Pantheon, who we were just talking about. Something that I had only kind of realized, but didn't really fully actually see until I played it in game myself. His W now does percentage max health damage that scales with AD and HP. His own AD and HP. He does a lot of damage now to tanks, especially. So if I see anything like a Scion or an Ornn on the enemy team, Bruiser Pantheon all the way. Give me an Overlord's Blood Mail and I'll chunk him.
But a Lee Sin locked in for Metashift now.
And Ezreal, okay.
I mean, I love Lee Sin. I love watching Lee Sin. I don't think this is going to have the same impact potentially as I saw in MSI with Canyon. But a Blitzcrank as well. Just a lot of really interesting picks coming out. Typically, this is the kind of stuff you'd start seeing in games 4 and 5. In Fearless, but seeing it in the first 2 games already, we had the Nico jungle, obviously Metashift's big for it, but Xayah with the Blitzcrank as well does struggle to follow up a little bit if Snark is a little bit further away, but if they're able to get close enough for the autos, does combo significantly with it. As Ezreal Braum, okay, so I'm the analyst, so I need to try and figure out how these 2 bot lanes are going to work.
Yeah,
I cannot.
I really wish that these supports were swapped. I feel like Xayah Braum is such a deadly combination, and Braum does so well into Blitzcrank and Ezreal. Whereas Blitzcrank Ezreal is great at single target damage. You just are able to isolate a target for Ezreal to hit all his skill shots on. It's very difficult to get away from. But Xayah Blitzcrank, yeah, you have decent engage and follow because Xayah has the roots, but are you going to hook the Ezreal, who's going to be able to buffer his way out? Are you going to hook the Braum, who wants to be in your face? What are you actually doing here in the bottom lane?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely roam. I think that's the play because it does go both ways. Because Snark's also not really going to be threatened by this Ezreal Braum lane. And I think that's kind of the idea. So the Blitzcrank makes more sense to me, especially if you pair up with a Pantheon. There's a lot of damage, a lot of plays that you can have happen.
Single target isolated damage is what they're hoping for.
But the Braum, I think that's kind of my issue right now. Maybe just trying to be the target to get hooked, but I mean, you still have the Cassante now locked into the top lane, so that's not going to be much of a concern. So, I mean, we'll see. Maybe the Braum's going to end up being useful, but I'm not a huge fan of this pick so far. I am a pretty huge fan of the Rumble pick in the top lane, however.
Yeah. People have not been realizing how insane Rumble is in general. This is something that I'm glad I get a chance to talk about because I didn't realize the math on this. Kanik Rookern is worse as a first item versus Rumble than Force of Nature is. Because of how his Q interacts with the percentage max health damage and just the damage over time, you practically insta-stack Force of Nature, which gives you way more effective magic resist than the Kanik Rookern does.
Yeah, I remember seeing this as well, and that is a very interesting one. Hopefully, they'll know that as
I'm hoping
well.
that Barcode has done his research, but we do also see Cassiopeia to match up into that Galio, and CTB a lot more engaged this time around. Double globals, the equalizer, plus a Blitzcrank means that you have opportunities to find engage, and I think this TMG composition is actually fine to be engaged into. You have Cassiopeia, Braum, Ezreal, champions who are happy to have someone running into them, so I think this is a stylistically happy matchup for both sides, honestly.
Well, I think it's going to depend on a few things, because if Caramel is able to hook the right targets, TMG struggles walking into CTB as well. So depending on who they hook, that could just completely blow open the fight. But on the other hand,
if you grab the Cassante.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you grab the Cassante, if you grab the Braum as well, because that Glacial Fissure is just, it's not usually a good engage, it's usually a good counter engage, but if they hook you into the entire team,
yeah, getting hooked is a form of engage, I guess. You just tank the hook and then you get your ulti off on everybody. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the more I look at this, I think TMG, they need to be first to the objectives, which they have struggled in the previous map. Because if they're able to set up, if they're able to get started, the Poe coming out from the Ezreal, the Miasma coming out from the Cassiopeia, it's very hard to play into them. But if CTB's there first, TMG struggles to get into a play themselves. If they're not the first ones there, if they're the ones they need to try fighting for position, that's where they're going to start struggling. And I think it's going to be fun to watch, just because both of these two teams kind of have very similar wants and very similar play styles that they're going to want to bring out in this game.
Yeah, it's just going to be a matter of who's able to get what they want more effectively and who's going to be able to pull the trigger first, I think, is the big deal. TMG is going to have to be very careful of these double globals and these big ultimates that are going to come through. But at the same time, I think as long as they have the counter engage prepared, they're ready for anything that CTB is going to throw at them. I just want to see them, when they get a chance to finish the game, finish the game. Yep. Last game, they were a little bit having a little bit too much fun with it. I think they were at the Nexus on multiple occasions, played for a couple of kills, played for some fun, ended up getting punished for it, and now we see CTB with a 1-0 lead. So if they make mistakes like that again, series is over.
Yeah, and they're going to have to be real careful this time around, but I do think they have better playmaking potential this time around. I think it's not going to be... on the side of TMG, I think they do have better playmaking, especially with the Lee Sin, with the Cassante. It's not going to be just meta shift that needs to get something done, or the game's just kind of over from there. But I still prefer the CTV draft this time around, because they kind of have more characters that they can play through. They can play through top, they can play through bot lane. Otters was on Malzahar duty in game 1, gonna be on the Galio in game number 2, so just gonna need that time, or so they're gonna have that availability in the mid lane to kind of help out the rest of the map. But they can still make plays on the Galio as well. It's gonna have the roaming timer, so really just gonna depend on how the game goes. But I think I do favor the CTB draft going into this game.
Yeah, I do think it is worth mentioning something that I looked at, but I didn't really realize on the top of the day. A couple of the CTV players are playing, I think, out of position on their roster on the sheet on the website at least. Caramel's their top laner, Beastfridge is their mid laner, and Otter is their support. So I wonder if maybe because they are so far out of it, they're just like, yeah, role swap it up a little bit, see what we can do, see if we can manage to like make something change, something different happen here. And perhaps that's why Otter's been on more of these utility picks as something more carry oriented. Yeah,
maybe. And sometimes it is good when you are falling behind like this. If you kind of have a few options, you can just be very sad about it and nothing's going to happen if you are. You can try just deciding, you know what, we're going to learn from this season instead. We're no longer trying to compete. We're just going to see what kind of changes we can come up with that could maybe be useful in future seasons, which is what I think TTB is doing right now. There's also the third option, which is what I think TMG are doing, where you're just having fun.
Yeah, sometimes playing for fun when you're this far behind in the standings is totally allowed. And I think even though they lost, I'm hoping that TMG had a lot of fun in game number 1, because Meta Shift sure as hell did. As we're on to the Rift here, it's game number 2, and we might have a meeting of the minds here in the top lane, as it seems like TMG has read what happened in game number 1 and are prepared for it this time around.
Yeah, and I'm wondering who's going to be the first to walk into who. But I mean, whenever there's a Blitzcrank involved, you always want this to happen. But it looks like they are going to meet.
Blind hook the bush. Blind hook the bush. He's not going to do it. Fortress Door is going to get the first hit off. And we've got the level 1 shenanigans going. Caramel's going to be the target, and it's first blood over to Liluf, and everyone else is going to disengage, and TMG will be happy to take that one away.
Yeah, now it's going to be the question of what that secondary rune is going to be for Liluf. Because, okay, so it is going to be the dagger. Okay,
the dagger.
So, yeah, magical footwear is going to be Liluf's secondary, so not going to be able to get started with the boots. And I think these first blood changes genuinely matter so much to AD carries.
Oh, yeah.
Because back in the day, this would have been tier
First blood
for
Liluf. It meant tier for Ezreal's, and it meant cull for everyone else. You were right on that magical footwear on the secondary. He's also got those biscuits, so we'll keep our eye out for that. I do want to say I'm a little disappointed that we're seeing the Presti attack instead of the lethal tempo that has been so good for Ezreal recently, but you're going up against at least one tank, if not a tank and a half, with the Blitzcrank, as Fortress Door is going to put out a little bit of poke there with the hook missing. But we'll have to see how much Liluf can actually get done. I do think you're right, though. First blood changes, meaning no tier for Ezreal's and no cull for other AD carries, makes a big difference on that first kill of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna give quite as much of an advantage from that first back as it would in potentially another role, especially if you have the magical footwear. I think that's really the big thing. But
hook lands. Fortress Door is going to eat a turret shot, but Snark has to be careful. He's going to get stunned up. Caramel will tank that Mystic shot, but Snark's still going to lose a decent chunk of that HP.
Gets hit by the other skill shots on the way out as well. But either way, I mean, right now, bot lane, I don't expect too much to continue happening there unless there's just going to be that big hook. It pretty much has to be on Caramel to get those plays started in the bot lane. Otherwise, I think both sides are kind of going to be happy just farming it out. It's top lane.
Big trade from Barcode. Beast Fridge is going to eat a lot of damage here. Cassante is still the champion. Flashes forward, but is going to eat a couple of tower shots for it. Trades flashes with Beast Fridge, and I think is actually kind of okay with that trade at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably happy with this. You're even able to get a cleaner reset. Because I think if you're on the other side, you need to walk back into the brush. You need to get over to a safe location, make sure that Beast Fridge doesn't try to cancel your reset. And where the fight ended up going, just getting into the tri-brush, Beast Fridge couldn't move from underneath that tower, needed to be able to get those last hits. So kind of a better reset will be able to get all of these minions will be able to kind of maintain the pressure on the top side, maintain that wave state however Barcode wants. As we do see Metashift starting to roam up.
This is the cannon creep as well. Metashift is here. He's going to pick up that Rose, get that extra 1 stack, a huge gold lead now for TMG. He's looking for a potential gank opportunity here, maybe even an invade, but he's just going to opt for the Scuttle Crab instead, so we'll just walk away with that. I think happy enough to take that. Maybe still look for top lane, though, as he's roaming back up towards it.
Yeah, and I think a big reason why they could look for top lane is the way you play Rumble is you want to kind of use your Flame Spitter behind your minions, behind the minions. You don't want to be hitting the minions with it because that's just going to shove the lane. You're going to get frozen on. You're going to get ganked. But because of that positioning, you're so far forward, even if the wave isn't, that it makes you a much easier target to gank. So it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. They're still going to find a way to gank you.
Yeah, there was some great positioning there from Beast Fridge, just being ready to see the jungler as Fortress Door gets hooked. But again, this is the target they want. Caramel, you can't be going for that one. Ignite down, flash away from the Blitzcrank. But a couple more autos should just be the first, not the first blood, the first 2v2 kill over. Snark gets stunned up. He's going to get the cleanse away. The predict from Metashift reads the flash. Snark will get Leo in trade, but mentally, TMG won that 100%.
I want to double check where the flash gets used by Lulufun because I think there was a slight int at the end there. But I mean, really good play. They got the kill on a Caramel. That last tick of Ignite doing more than enough. And yeah, just no.
Was greedy for the kill just in case the Q misses off the flash. Eats a turret shot and loses his flash for it. That's a little rough, but I think you're still feeling pretty good after that bottom lane scuffle.
Yes, but in terms of bot lane power, Lilofend actually loses out quite a bit on that. Getting that 300 gold to Snark as Metashift.
In a little bit of trouble here. Caramel just hanging onto that hook, waiting for him to go over the wall. He'll grab Hexify and force the flash away from the Casio. Nice little hold there from Caramel. Good little mechanical use there of that Blitzcrank hook.
Yeah, they will be able to get the flash, but they're not going to be able to get too much else out of it. But like I was saying, Lilifant going down there allows Snark to get that BF sword. If Lilifant doesn't die there, they're still going to be a lot
There's the
stronger.
buffer.
Yep, there's a buffer. That's why you pick Ezreal to Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank is not a threat to you. And
It's
later
why
on
you
in the
normally
game,
don't pick the Blitzcrank into the Ezreal.
yeah, I mean, especially without the roaming yet, because I did expect to see Caramel roaming a little bit more. I did manage to get the flash off of Hexify upon that catch with Meta Shift, so maybe that's the idea. As we do now see Caramel roaming up to the top side, but again, it's like Asante may not be the easiest target, but we'll see what they're able to get done. At the very least, they are playing Blitzcrank like you should be.
Yeah, I like that XPBM is covering in the bottom lane as well. There's not many camps to farm right now. His blue buff will be coming up eventually, but he's got a little bit of extra time. He can just play secondary support for a little bit while the support is off roaming. But it should mean that they're fully aware that Caramel is on the roam. Equalizer up here onto Barcode, but Beastfridge is already very low. They're going to pop the heroic entrance as well. Stun comes through before Barcode can get the ulti off. Unstoppable into the hook, but he can't find the damage onto Beastfridge. And then the 1v3, Cassante should eventually go down. Someone take the kill. They're going to try and give it over to Beastfridge, but Otter takes the last hit. A little concerning there for a second, but they end up getting it in the end.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a kill traded for the dragon. I think both sides are kind of happy with that. I think because they got the kill onto Otter, it's slightly less worth it for CDB. If it was on Beastfridge, then I think it'd be okay. It'd be about an even trade. But, I mean, TMG gonna get that first Drake. I was talking about them needing to play a bit more towards the objectives this time around, and so far they have.
Otter. Look, when you're a support player, like I am, farming under tower on a champion that you maybe don't have a ton of experience on, it's so hard. I feel so bad for Otter. That's so rough.
Yeah, especially with Cassiopeia just kind of throwing all those poison spells just over top. It gets stressful. We get it, Otter. We get it.
Look, Otter, I understand your pain. When I get autofilled mid and I feel the pressure to suddenly have to actually look at minions to last hit them instead of just existing in their area, and when they're half HP, they die next to me. It's such a different kind of game.
Yeah, right.
I always joke among my friends that the reason I started playing support in the first place and moved out of top lane is because I could never CS well. My CS was always like near 5 per 10 minutes. It was really bad.
I mean, I genuinely have a friend who's a jungle main support secondary for that reason.
Look, sometimes CSing is hard, as XPPM is going to get spotted by the ulti, who's also going to tag Beastfridge. Big value from Lilifant. Beastfridge, though, still in a little bit of trouble. Has the flash away. The Ignite burned from Fortress Door. Grant Starfall used from XPBM defensively there to keep his top laner alive, but that's going to be Meta Shift is guaranteed to get all 3 of these grubs again.
Yeah, no one ever suspects the Braum roam into the top lane, so I don't completely blame Beastfridge for not being ready for that play. They will be able to get a couple plays in the bot side on Snark and Caramel, and maybe looking for the kill as well.
Want to find him. Hulk in Caramel doesn't have the passive shield, so he will go down. Snark is going to let the feathers fly. Dodge the turret shot. They'll get 1 back at the very least in the dive, and yeah, Ezreal will lose some XP, but in a 2v1 under your own turret, you'll take a 1-for-1.
Yeah, especially with how much they were able to get in the top lane. I think they're definitely happy with that trade. Lilifant's going to be slightly accelerated in terms of the item build because of that. Already starting to get, not close, but well over halfway towards that Triforce. And Ezreal is one of those AD carries that does not need 3 items like most ADCs, only needs 2 to really be powerful, to really be ready and kind of online, so to speak. So this could be pretty big for Lilifant. As long as they utilize the timing well, I think that play definitely is in TMG's favor.
Yeah, we are seeing that Yuntal Wild Arrows fully completed for the Xayah, so Snark will take a little bit of time to get that extra crit, but the item on its own is already so valuable. You tack the crit on top of it, and it's just one of the best AD carry items in the game. It's what every AD carry main has been asking for, I think, since pretty much the item rework. AD, crit, and attack speed all in one item. As Lilifant, you gotta be a little careful here. Does have Fortress Door in the area, but not level 6 on the Braum, as XPM will land the stun. The hook comes through, flash out from Lilifant forced. Do they have more follow-up? They're certainly looking for it. True Shot Barrage comes through, does plenty of damage. XPBM takes a couple of Mystic Shots as well, as Lilifant is happy to continue the trade. Glacial Bite doesn't manage to find Caramel, so everyone will walk away from CTB. Dangerous hook there, but doesn't manage to land, as everybody will manage to walk away from the play.
Yeah, and now there's no real objectives coming up yet. It's just going to be the dragon in a minute and a half. So I would like to see TMG again just be on the objective early. I want them to maybe take their resets now. Just get the lanes shoved out, get their items, get your wards, and just start setting up for this dragon, because otherwise they're going to be in a much more difficult position in terms of taking it. But instead, Lilith's just going to try and get a little bit more gold in the bot and going to get that plate. Snark not going to be able to clear it out in time. I mean, not because of that, we're even seeing the tempo advantage. XPPM and Caramel, they're back out on the map. They have their wards. They're going to start clearing out the vision. They're going to start taking over this bot side jungle.
They don't know. They didn't see XPPM. They only saw Caramel. They assumed they're okay here, but the Blitzcrank level 5, no fear, just walking straight into Lilith, and he's got the Arcane Shift out. A great Glacial Fissure from Fortress Door, but the damage just doesn't matter, as Snark will pick up one and XPPM will pick up the other. Mediship lands a Sonic Wave, but going in 1v3 here, I don't think it's advisable.
No, and that's exactly what I was talking about, though, because with that tempo play, you know that dragon spawning soon. You know they're probably going to want to take it on spawn. And CTB, they have been good on taking it on spawn with these timers. So the play is going to be in the bot side. You had a very kind of soft push. It wasn't fully underneath the turret, but it was kind of 2/3 of the way through the lane. It's a very dangerous spot to keep the wave. And even if you are Braum Ezreal, it is not enough to get past the Pantheon, Blitzcrank, and Zaya. They have so much CC, so much damage between those three that, I mean, they even misplayed quite a bit, and I think that Lilith and Fortress Door played that extremely well, and like you saw, it just didn't matter.
Yeah. I do like to see, as we're starting to see some first items completed, Caramel is going to look for a hook. The heroic engines as well. They're just throwing everything onto Fortress Door, and they will eventually pick him up. I think they're just going to be able to donate this one over to XPPM on that Pantheon. And it's weird to think about, but the Hextech Dragon that TMG got, that's their first dragon of the series. They didn't get a single one in game number 1.
Yeah, they just have not been able to play around it. And I think partially it's because they don't really seem to want to play around it. And I think with the way they do build their team comps, where they're kind of looking for those early fights, just kind of always brawling, it does make sense, because if you're able to get those kills early, you typically want to end the game before Soul's available. But
Hook lands, but there's a play happening in mid lane, as that's just a dead Pantheon. Metashift and Hexify Hook enough to make the play happen. In the meantime, Lilithant getting poked out here by Snark and Caramel. True Shot Barrage is going to land on both of them. Metashift has the kick. He wants to find an angle. Nice little bit of movement there from Caramel to deny the follow-up, but still gets kicked in the face. Glacial Fissure, nice movement predict, but just doesn't have the range, but it does not matter. Metashift on the Lee Sin has the follow-up, and that's a double kill over to the jungler.
all right, well, they're able to mechanically make those plays. They are going to get onto the dragon now, so going to be 2 dragons already for the side of TMG. I still think CTV could have started instead of maybe invading a little bit too far in, but doesn't matter. At the end of the day, being able to punish mistakes is a skill in its own right. There's a Grand Starfall coming in the top.
Onto the top side. All out already used from Barcode. Does plenty of damage onto Beast Ridge. Has to flash away from that third. And Topo Strike has the shield. Just barely survives it with the help of XPPM. Will manage to make the top side play happen.
Yeah, that was a really close play too. Overheats from the last shield. So Beast Ridge, that was the last hope for that play. But now Hexify could be the target.
Flashes in. Hexify doesn't have the mana. The taunt's going to come through. XPPM is also in the area. CC for days upon days. And Caramel with the shock blast will pick up the kill. You know what? You earned that one, Caramel. You take that kill.
Everybody gets one. But, I mean, Caramel did secure it. I think at that point, Hexify was at the point where, with Flash available, could have actually gotten out of that situation. So at that point, better to have the support take the kill than the kill being lost. So for once, genuinely, that was the kill secured. Despite how bad it looked, Hexify could definitely have gotten out of that situation.
You know what? I'm going to say it for support mains everywhere. Take those kills. Your AD carries and your junglers, they get to farm. They get to have passive gold income just by, hitting things on the map. What do we get? We get a couple of gold per 5 seconds. Take the kills for yourself. Your items are cheaper. You'll get them faster. Your team will be stronger. They'll thank you in the long run. This is not real advice. Please don't steal kills.
I was gonna say, the GP5 is also the single most gold efficient item in the game.
Well, because you only pay 400 for it.
Yeah, exactly. But right now on the top side, I think I'm trying to. Do you know if feats have been activated yet? Because I know Feet of the Warlord has been gone. The turrets are still available, but
yeah, we still have
get
turrets,
on.
and TMG should have the boots because they got, I believe it was the first 3 kills alongside. Yeah, they have the upgraded boots. It's on now.
Okay.
There's another play in the mid lane. Hexify pops that Stone Gaze, but doesn't get too much value out of it. Otter pretty tanky on the Galio, but it's going to be forced to flash away. One more auto, not going to come through. Otter will manage to get away with just that flash. And I like, again, the attempt at the play, but if it's just the Galio and the Pantheon there, they don't have the damage to take out this Cassia.
Yeah, that's the issue with the Galio. It is more of that supporty pick. It's not going to be able... Yeah, good buffer. It's only a half-second silence, so not going to be enough for a play like that.
I like the attempt, though, from Caramel. Get the silence down. Look for your hook. That's what you got to do.
I mean, at the very least, it is a solid amount of poke damage onto the Ezreal. I mean, don't underestimate the rocket grab, but... Yeah, another Herald going to land into the top side, and they're getting some pretty solid damage. As I enjoy LEC as well sometimes.
Otter wants to try and find this play. Medishi's taking a lot of damage. The hook comes through after the ward hop, and Beastfrish just drills him in the head. Now looking for a little bit more. The Equalizer is good here on that corridor. Fortress Store and Barcode taking quite a bit of damage. The Locket's going to deny a lot of it, but a nice two-man taunt from Otter. He'll get stunned at the end of the day. But XPPM now with that ulti onto that backline, he wants to look for more follow-up. The Grand Entrance not going to be able to find too much value there. XPPM still wants to continue to follow. They want to keep chasing these kills, but walking towards Hexify is what he wants to have happen. Barcode will eventually fall here thanks to that burn from Beastfrish doing so much damage. Caramel, you're not an AP Blitzcrank. You can't one-shot the wave to ult it, but I like the thought process.
Yeah, the hope was definitely there. We could all feel it coming out of Caramel, but huge play coming out of CTB. I mean, they got all the kills they needed. They're going to get the tier 1 on the top side. Beastfrish even going to be able to TP into the bot lane so that Lilifant's not going to be able to get anything else in return in the bot side. And that opens up a pretty massive gold lead. 3K at this point in the game is very significant. That's basically a full item overall anyway.
And I think it also matters where the kills are. You've got it pretty evenly spread among your carries, except for on Snark, who has the majority of the kills for the team. Only one on your tank mid laner, only one on your support. Everyone else pretty well sharing in that gold. Xayah on 2 items pre-20 minutes is a damn scary champion.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, everybody gets one, but you still want to give most of them over to Snark. And that 2-item power spike as the 3rd dragon spawning, that's where things are going to get interesting. And it is a better soul for them this time around. It is going to be the Chemtech soul. But CTB, they're still on 0. They do have the gold lead. And I think at this point, they kind of have to try and prevent the stacking coming out of TMG.
I have fought for this since it got added in its newer form, and it's not, you know, busted broken anymore, as Caramel's not going to find that hook there. I think Chemtech Soul is the most underrated soul in the game. It's so valuable in terms of not only what the individual dragons get you as potential engage onto Otter from Meta Shift here, but that's not the target they want. The Equalizer will find too, but a massive Glacial Fissure from Fortress Store will find every member of CTV. Snark on the backline, though, looking to trade with Lilifant, who will escape with that barrier and 1 HP. Hexify manages to sidestep most of the feathers on the top side of the fight, but in the meantime, on the bottom side, XPPM still running free. Tosses a spear into Lilifant and picks himself up a double kill. Hexify and Fortress Store want to be able to defend this dragon. They want to get themselves a soul point. Caramel, though, on a potential flank angle, he's looking for some value. XPPM has the damage, will be able to pick up the Braum as well. Hexify forced on the run. A killing spree for XPPM, and the dragon over to CTB.
Yeah, it's a 4-4-2, and the Drake going over to CTB. They're going to be in a much better position as Caramel. Just trying to prevent the recall, but let's take a look over at this fight. I mean, engaging onto the Galio was always going to be rough, but the follow-up was so good. The Glacial Fissure onto 4, and then the Scream over top.
Doesn't get a single stun there.
That's the gold lead. I think if the gold was even, I'm pretty sure TMG do win just off of that engage. But Lilifant just gets completely run out of the fight by Snark, is barely able to join, just trying to poke edge of range, and as soon as it gets too close, just 1 Comet Sphere is all it really needed. And then XPPM is so strong as well, just so much damage coming out. And 1 final kill just for good measure, but really well played by both these sides, but the gold lead was just really going to be favoring the CTB.
Yeah, again, like you said, I think if the gold was a little bit more even, if maybe Lilifant had that item fully completed and upgraded, as Hexify now potentially in trouble. Beast Fridge wants to sidestep the ulti, but it's just not there in time. Hexify with some great timing, but with the amount of CC coming through, with the amount of damage they have, it should be able to just be picked up. A valiant attempt from the Cassio, but they can't find it as Meta shifts. Gets a kick back onto Snark, and that's just a dead Xayah. Trades 1-for-1 across the map, but the Otacon now starting to go down in CTB's favor.
Yeah, but mid-tier 1 going to be traded in reverse. However, this time around, TMG are going to be aware it's going. TP. And they even have the TP coming through.
I think Beast Fridge is too low. I don't think they can do it. They have to walk away.
I think that's the right call to walk away, whether they can do it or not. I mean, the armor shred from that is basically guaranteeing that they're going to lose the next fight.
Oh, God, yeah.
Narc still holds the vast majority of their gold as well. Although, as they say that, XPPM 615 now. Definitely no slouch either, but... that's still going to be a lot of that gold lead just missing off the map for you. They're not going to be able to take it either, so there's no rush. You can just reset, come back to it. But still, a huge play for Metashift being able to take out Snark. But I would like to see CTB just trying to press their lead a little bit more, maybe being more on the same page. Because Auto can hold those side lanes. You don't need to have your AD carry kind of alone pushing through.
Doesn't have the flash. Is going to be fully relying on the Arcane Shift there. Gets over the wall. Unfortunately, the Lollipop working in favor of Lilofint there. If you're unaware, when you dash across a wall, as long as you get your cursor over halfway across it, you'll be over the wall. Hooks don't work like that. They keep the same range no matter what. Beast Fridge in a little bit of trouble down here, but he's got the ulti to clear out the wave, and now he's just in a 1v1 with Barcode. Metashift tanks up quite a few turret shots, and Beast Fridge is just going to live in this 1v1 as now the 3v1 of the top side. Hexify again. A great stun onto 2, but it's just not going to find enough value. Caramel gets the hook over the wall. Beautifully placed. Channels the recall as well. He's feeling himself on the Blitzcrank.
Yeah, but the real question is what can they get after the kill? And right now, despite not being able to secure the kill on a Beast Fridge, TMG, they're the ones that are going to be given that turret. They're going to get that extra objective and extra gold on the map. So despite not getting the kill, that's still better for TMG. And now Lilofant is going to be able to catch the mid-wave. Snark was able to shove it in. And actually, look at Snark's HP bar. Almost goes down fighting with that Ezreal. Not sure exactly what happened there, but going to be a little bit of extra prio going over to TMG there. But one thing they can do is on this reverse play, and what we might be able to see here is just them starting the Otacon right away. It is a possibility. It is a little bit risky, especially because mid-prio has been regained by TMG. But yeah, they're not going to be doing it. But just something to think about, because I think having those really fast plays, it's so unexpected, and with the damage, they can definitely get it done as long as everyone's on the same page and just fully booking it in.
Fortress Door is going to eat that hook, but now potentially the one in trouble has to lose that flash. Is still eating a ton of damage. The kick away from Metashift with the shields as well. Fortress Door will survive, but no! Caramel flashes to punch him in the jaw. Takes the kill.
Yeah, another kill secure for Caramel. Like, legitimately a kill secure. Like that, no one else except Caramel could have gotten that kill.
And you're fine with Blitzcrank losing the flash because he's got the Hex Flash.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Blitzcrank's just kind of been playing really well. We were a little bit iffy about it on the start.
Barcode in a lot of trouble here. Beast Fridge does so much damage once that passive is on. The Unstoppable's there, but Beast Fridge now underheated, has the Flame Spitter and just takes him down. Yeah, with the Cassante, you cannot match the Rumble with these two items.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's a 3-1-6 Rumble and a 0-5-2 Cassante. I assume there's a pretty significant level lead for Beast Fridge as well. Already on level 15. That's actually kind of ridiculous. It's really accelerated. And yeah, it was a good matchup as Caramel.
Caramel, we were just praising you. This is that caster curse we were talking about. Hang on! No! I curse reversed! It's a double kill for Snark, and Caramel's gonna walk away.
We should have never doubted. We should have never doubted Caramel. Caramel is always right.
I know I was saying that he was dead, but I just need you to know I literally never doubted him.
Yeah. But the important thing is, will Caramel believe us? But either way, that is going to be the Dragon getting started for CTB, and they lost the first two, but they have pretty good control so far as Caramel once again in the backline.
Is in the wrong spot here. Kicks away Beast Fridge. The hook over the wall. Metashift will tank it to keep Hexify alive. Maybe they can turn something around here with a nice Stone Gaze, but just not enough damage. Now with the Grand Starfall from XPPM, Hexify manages to land that bit of miasma though, so gets the extra movement speed. He's going to start to walk away, but Caramel on the hunt. Keep your eyes on this Blitzcrank. He's out for blood. He's going to slow himself down. He gets a little tired, but he's got the inside track. Hexify is still in his sights. XPPM is still nearly in the area. The hook lands again, and now with the Glacial Augment, there's no escape for Hexify. XPPM is going to deny a lot of the damage. Do they have enough to kill the Cassio? She's healing a lot. She's got the shield as well. They do finally knock it down. Even the True Shot Barrage, not enough to keep Hexify alive. Caramel's just been on a train this game.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very, very close play coming out from TMG. Hexify almost turning that around. But even so, that was still Flash used by XPPM. It was a big kill. They're going to continue growing. I mean, I want to see what this buy is because I don't think they've really reset for a little bit. So XPPM, never mind, they did. So it's just going to be the pickaxe. But they're getting very close to that third item. And once they get that third item, they're going to continue just running over this map. And it seems like this entire series has just been the junglers so far. Obviously, Beastfridge had a beast game in game number 1 for the side of CTB. But Metashift has been playing well 2 games in a row. XPPM has been having an absolute masterclass this game on the Pantheon. As here's the Hex Slash.
We even question the Mordekaiser game 1. Caramel holding onto the hook, but the Arcane Shift will get Lilifant out in time. We were questioning the Mordekaiser in game 1, but those death rounds ended up being so influential in the team fights. They mattered so much just for keeping team members out, and it allowed XPPM to get value out of a champion that really shouldn't have a ton of value as Hex Flash channeling for Caramel. He wants a little bit more, but it's just Otter on the other side of the wall. The Baron still started. It's down to now 5k. Metashift's in the area, and Lee Sin's really good at stealing these champions. There he goes! Metashift will steal the Baron! But can they get the fight afterwards? A great equalizer from Beastfridge will get a ton of damage down, and they're going to start to get shredded. A 4-man stun from Barcode. It just means the rest of the team might be able to make it out alive as the rest of the members of CTV are trying to chase members down. But TMG with that Ryalize, he's going to be able to slow them up. Lilifant over the wall with that Arcane Shift, gets away from the flash. Otter wants to keep the chase going, but Lilifant does plenty of damage. Sidesteps that Mystic Shot, has the taunt, will be able to get up in time. Yuzapal, Lilifant still has the flash. He wants to find one more, but Beastbridge has the rocket and will be able to take him down. A messy exchange. The Baron over to TMG, but they're only going to keep it on 2 members.
Yeah, I don't think Lilifant needed to go for that trade. Could have just backed away. Keeping that Baron buff was definitely way, way more important than getting that kill, but I mean, it is a risky play, and I don't think you can go for this unless you're confident that you can zone out the Lee Sin. And I think it started fine, but at this point, they should have backed away. 5k, 6k HP, you can still walk away from this play, but at that point, just the burst damage is always going to be higher for the Lee Sin. It's not a 50-50. It is favored to the Lee Sin. Now, the team fight is pretty close, and in fact, goes slightly away. But, I mean, that wasn't even a clean team fight in terms of positioning. That was very, very fair positioning, and it's still a 3-4-2. And that's with Lilifant kind of changing that a little bit in the end.
Yeah,
So
it should have most likely been a 2-for-1 instead of a 3-for-2, and you keep the Baron buff on 3 members, but Lilifant saw the outplay montage in their eyes, and when you see that montage, you can't really deny yourself from going for it, right? You gotta make it happen.
100%, and especially on a role like AD carry, you need to have that ego.
Caramel is going to be able to get the hook. The Glacial Augment means that Hexify cannot walk away. A great stun on the Beastfridge. Can they trade enough damage back, though? Flash forward from Caramel just to get the damage down. Hexify gets tagged by the Equalizer over the wall, trying to walk away, but Beastfridge has it in the meantime on the top side of the fight. XPPM is just surviving 1v2 versus Fortress Door and Meta Shift. This Pantheon so difficult to knock down. And CTB, again, they're just bullying the heck out of Hexify.
Yeah, they're just not letting this Cassiopeia play. And I think that's the right call because you're never going to be able to get on the Ezreal, and that's the only other carry on the map. So you just go on loop, and another flash burned. Caramel just all over the map this game. We talked about XPPM playing a masterclass, but Caramel's been doing really well, both in game 1 and in game 2. Those Tempered Fates were really strong on the Bard, and right now just absolutely running the map on this Blitzcrank. 22 out of 27 kills participated in. Ridiculous. By far the highest of anyone on this map.
Ridiculous stats from Caramel, who I'm gonna double check here. I just need to look at his regular champs play. No, this is the support player. Okay. I was wrong about the way they set up their sheet. Caramel is their actual support player, as potentially engage here. Root lands onto Barcode. They found the hook onto Lilith, and he wasn't ready to buffer it, and now he's just going to get CC'd to hell. A great kick from Metaship, but they can't find anything else off of it. The ultimate there from Beast Fridge, not finding too much value, but he will be able to burn down Hexify. XPPM on the top side of this fight, trying to survive 1v2, but they'll eventually pick him up. Has a flash over the wall, managing to survive. Snark now unstoppable, trying to heal up off his dragon. Metaship wants to get in, and he's going to be able to smite down the dragon. He'll steal another objective away. And the damage members from CTV, can they manage to finish off this fight? Because Metashift and Barcode heal so much, they sustain so much. Caramel's now going to go down. The one-at-a-time strat not working well for CTV. Snark managed to heal up a little bit off the videos, and Beast Fridge still has enough of a health bar that he's happy to walk forward. But Barcode now on top of Snark. They've found one. Now they won't find another. Snark survives, and TMG falls.
Okay, so for that dragon, I know exactly what happened. Now, obviously, the logic is you should back off of dragon. You should stop hitting it because you know Metashift is there. But we'll get to it when we get to it as part of this fight. But first, they get the root, and look at that hook from Caramel. Once again, just kind of playing off to the opposite side. I don't think that Lilith realized that he was on vision. That's why he wasn't ready with that arcane shift. But you remove the A to carry off the map immediately. But now watching over towards that bot side, Snark gets taken down very low when killing Hexify. Now the rest of the fight happens, yada, yada, yada. And now Snark's thought, I need to lifesteal. There's nothing to hit except the dragon, so I'm going to hit the dragon. But because of that, Metashift is just able to walk in, take the dragon.
Oh, the feather pull too!
Yeah, so that's
his perfect smite HP.
Yeah, I mean, that dragon was going down no matter what because XPVM was nowhere near it. So that's kind of why that dragon was getting taken down as low as it was. But, I mean, after that, Metashift and Barcode, they were trying to do whatever they can. But even with the low HP bars, Beast Fridge was still more than healthy enough to just walk into them, kind of do whatever they wanted. And it's just going to be a masterclass team fight coming out for CTV.
Yeesh. It never actually feels like it matters as much in the team fights as it really does. But I think in that last little skirmish, the Otacon true damage AoE meant that TMG, they lost those last two members there as Hexify. Again, you can't be soloing in the side lanes every time. Caramel's got the silence. A nice two-man stun again. Hexify will land these, but it's just no team nearby, and Snark will now be legendary on the Xayah.
Look at the damage Snark did there. Like, obviously, that was, like, perfectly set up, but this Xayah is strong. Now, for Hexify, we've already kind of beaten it to death.
Fortress Door is now going to get hooked. He's out of position, but he's versus two tanks. I think he's just going to try and find a way to walk away. But Lilith trying to save his support. Now maybe the one in trouble as Kira's going to find a knock-up onto him. He's forced to flash over the wall, and Fortress Door will still die. TMG, the communication just not there today, and CTB are going to look towards the Baron.
Yeah, they're definitely starting to fall apart here, and this game has definitely gone past that kind of critical moment. CTB's definitely well in charge, and I think at this point, nothing but a throw is really going to bring this game back. I think their composition's easier to execute. Caramel is like, I mean, Blitzcrank's one of those champions where it's a very emotional champion, so to speak, because if you're feeling good, you're going to get a lot of plays done. If you're feeling bad, you're going to be useless. But Caramel is feeling good this game, and it shows in the play.
Yeah, it's a difficult position to be in for TMG, where you have to sort of change mentality of, this is no longer kind of our game to win. This is now their game to lose. As Beast Fridge is going to sidestep that Sonic Wave. Teleport coming through from Otter. He's got the stopwatch as well. And suddenly Barcode and Metashift have to walk away because they don't win this 2v2. Teleport coming in, but Caramel's on the way as well, turning into a 3v3 with Hexify now in the area. But this is the Casio who's been bullied all game. Caramel in. He's going to get stunned up, but he sets up the grand entrance for Otter. Grand Starfall in from XPPM. Fortress Storm will be the next sacrificial lamb to die at the altar of CTV. Lilith been trying to kite away, but it just feels like TMG trying to salvage plays that are unsalvageable.
Yeah, but I mean, at this point, when you're this far behind, you just need to go for what you can. Try and get something to happen on the map, but this could be the beginning of the elephant just in the middle of everyone. We'll get a kill on a Caramel, but immediately going to get turned back. And still another assist for Caramel. 31 out of 37, still maintaining that massive KP. And now it looks like they do want to try and end on this mid lane. One of the tier 4 force has already been taken down, so it's just going to be Snark wailing on this final Nexus tower as they try to
GA
end
as
the game.
well. He doesn't have to care. He can just walk forward. The Nexus is open. TMG just don't have the members to defend, and CTV will not mess around and will take a clean 2-0 victory on the week.
I mean, game 1 was very close, very hit and miss, but very good defense coming out from Chitown Berserkers. Game number 2, we saw how they can play on offense, and they looked pretty strong. I mean, it's surprising that with the way they've been playing, that they're a 1-4 team. I guess a 2-4 team now, because I genuinely think they look good. They played really well as a team. Beastfridge, Snark, Caramel. I mean, really everyone except Otter, and no flame to Otter. You still did your job, but everyone else on the team just played really over the top well. Like,
yeah, we say that Otter didn't do well that game, but you're playing a melee versus Cassio, and you died a single time over the whole game.
Yeah, I mean, it's
you weren't that far behind in gold. You weren't that far behind in CS. You did your job. Well done, Otter.
Yeah, and that game 1 flash at the end to secure that win, grabbing Hexify on the Smolder. Like, I mean, that's how it should be. It's not a flashy role, but it's kind of what you need for the team. But
the team
I've just
consistency when you got people like Beastfridge and Snark.
That's the thing. So you have hard carries like that, and you have Otter kind of supporting the rest of the team. Like, that's what makes this team so strong. And I mean, I know I'm new here for Vanquisher. I don't know how strong the other teams are, since I am mostly over there in the Monday Divinity League. Be sure to check that out too, by the way.
Gotta get a plug in for yourself. There
I mean, it's still a plug for Titan. Sems will forgive me. But, but I mean, they look really strong. Like, maybe the other teams are just even better, but if they are, that just shows the high level of play that we have in the Titan Vanquisher League.
Yeah, the Titan Vanquisher League has been very competitive this season. I was really surprised to see this TMG Paladins roster go as far down as they are. And now, unfortunately, at 1-5, I think they are guaranteed out of playoff contention. So it's going to be a rough week 7 for them. They're going to have to find something that they can get out of the gameplay, something that they can get out of their game time. I'm hoping it's not just an FF, because we'd love to see them play at least one more week. But that is pretty much going to be it for us. I just want to say, if you were thinking, wow, Brady, that's a really cool shirt you're wearing. Where on earth did you get that? Well, Titan Esports has a merchandise. And if you thought that this button up was pretty snazzy, or if you even thought that the shirt underneath it was pretty snazzy, it's for the winter season, but the merchandise is available on our store. I believe you can find a link to it beneath the stream here or in the Titan Esports Discord. Please go pick yourself up something up. This is some really quality stuff. I wear it every week for a reason. It's comfortable, it feels nice, and it looks nice. But that is going to be it from us tonight. I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Toki, I want to thank you specifically for filling in tonight for our normal caster, Turk. We appreciate you for being here. Good luck on your Divinity stream next week. Our producer and our observer, Shivam and Anti, making sure the stream runs as smoothly as possible behind the scenes. Again, we appreciate you all for being here, and we'll see you next week for more of Vanquisher action. Have a good night.